Boom. How y'all doing? How y'all feel out there? You already know what it is. If you don't,
Oh,
this
another
is Down
day.
in Sports Talk. I am left-handed. That's Yada Bear over there. You know what I'm saying? And tonight, man, we gonna do a little 2022-23 NBA Eastern Conference preview. If you missed the Western Conference preview that we did a couple of shows back, you could jump
Hmm.
on YouTube and check us out. We had a great show. It was lively. We talked about every team in the Western Conference and what we thought. Tonight we're going to do the same with the Eastern Conference, and we our teams reside in the Eastern Conference. I'm a New York Knicks fan, and Yada is a Sixers hard body fan. So we're going to get
Oh,
into that,
body.
get in depth with that, and touch on all the other teams in the Eastern Conference. So we're going to get busy. We got some other stuff to talk about. We're gonna rock out for maybe a little hour, or you know how we do overtime. But I think Yaya got other plans, so their team is playing right now in the National League
Both of them
Division.
are playing. Actually,
Both of them are playing.
we got the
Okay, listen,
Phillies in,
it's a
and we
busy
got a
night.
Sixers game going on.
Yeah. So what's going on with you? How you feel?
Feel good. It was a late start for this Phillies game. Game two, which is on right now. Phillies versus the Braves. Little late start. They out there willing and dealing. Both pitchers out there throwing gems. Top of the fourth, 0-0. This is a pitching duel right now. I figured that this game will be a pitcher's duel after. Oh, there we go. JT just let's hit a single. So now we got somebody on the bags. But I figured that this would be a pitching duel this game, with Wright and Willer out there. And Atlanta's trying to save face. They came out
That's one
flat.
way to put it.
Yes, they came out extremely flat yesterday, and we was able to take game one. They got a little interesting at the end, but our defense stepped up. Cassiano made the play that he needed to make, and we was able to walk away with a victory. So hopefully today, we can move these runners over, get them in scoring position, and get a couple runs in. But what's
um,
going on with you?
I'm chilling. Everything's everything. Ready to get this basketball talk started.
Yes.
Seasons overlap. You already know we got baseball going on, football going on, hockey going on, basketball going on. We got a big fight coming up this weekend. It's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
going on. I'm good. Celebrating. You know what I mean. Just another day above Earth. You know what I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
making it happen. I'm sipping on some Mia's lituation right here. And it's thebomb.com. Shout out to Maya's Lituation. Make sure you get in touch with that on Instagram. Get you right. And I'm just here, man. Just celebrate. We got some good news today behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully,
cool.
yeah, we get ready to do our thing. We take a little small baby walks. We're not trying to, get well, we are trying to get 50,000 million followers, but that
Oh,
comes with
always.
territory. You know what I mean? But we're gonna take baby steps. We're gonna hope this thing grows organically. Shout out to everybody that rocks with us. The picks will be up for week 5, week 6, and all of that. So don't fret that. I've been doing other things behind the scenes, handling business, but don't trust your man. Will have that thing up for you. And Sonny Cruz, don't worry. I think you still got the lead. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you want to rock out, and somebody had a lock that didn't come through, but we won't get into that right now because we didn't forget. We didn't forget. We know who you are. They ain't gonna say no names, but we know who you
Uh,
are. Somebody had a lock that didn't come through, but we were remiss and we didn't do our job in our last podcast. We left out a topic that we really wanted to discuss that Yada was really
uh,
focused on, and we got into it. You know how we do. We talk, we chop it up, we go everywhere. And as soon as we got off the air,
yeah.
um, Yada hit me. She was like, "Yo, we forgot to talk about the situation with Deion Sanders and Eddie Robb and the SWAC mob. You want to get into that a
Yeah.
little bit? That's how we're gonna set it off tonight."
Yeah, so it seemed like this past, Saturday was homecoming, everybody homecoming weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a game, Dion, his team, and
Jackson State.
Eddie. Jack Jackson State and Eddie Robinson Jr. team. Oh,
Alabama State or something.
yeah, Alabama State. And
Hmm.
it was a lot of controversy at the end with the coach's handshake. But
Hmm.
even before we get to the coach's handshake
Okay.
portion, every coach have a ritual before the teams take the field. And, Coach Prime ritual seems to be, he likes to walk the field. It doesn't matter if his team's on the field or his opponent's team's on the field. He likes to walk the field, get a get a feel of the field. So during
Get a
his
feel of
walk,
the field. I like that.
during his walk, he walked, passing through some, Alabama State um
I saw that. Right.
players.
Hmm.
And they was extremely disrespectful, saying a lot of disrespectful things to Coach Prime. And he didn't say anything. He didn't address it. And I'm looking at these young men and I'm like, do you know that a legend is walking among
That's
you?
you. Right. Right.
Like, do you feel the aura of this guy? He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. He done things in two leagues that people can only do in one or can't do it at all.
I can't do it
You
all.
know?
Right. That's right.
So by them saying those disrespectful words and calling him out on his name and just things like that, that was just extremely wrong. And then at the end of the game, to have the coach not want to, embrace him, just give him the shake and kind of like push them off.
Right. We call that the elbow. We call that the
Yeah,
elbow in New
yeah,
York. Like you get somebody to dap, you
when he
ain't
was
really
trying to
down with them
embrace
like that.
him.
So you kind of like keep them off like that. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And then going to say it during at the press conference, he not swag. Me and South
The
what
Southwest
Southern
Athletic Conference, right?
yeah, like he not swag. So I'm thinking, what do you mean he not swag? He's the reason why you're playing
While you on
on
TV.
TV. He is Deion was building hype for this game for the conference. You're the reason why you're in this position right now of having this press conference that anybody really cares about,
Hmm.
having your game, your homecoming game televised, and you playing against Deion. It's not his fault that his team came in and beat y'all. His team came in prepared. He prepared his guys for this for the game. And you guys lost at homecoming. It's not his fault. And for him to make those comments that he's an outsider to the conference, I feel like you need to take advantage of having him in your conference right now, because I believe sooner, real soon, Deion is going to get one of these big conference jobs because of his work that he has done in the conference with the team and the attention that he brought to HBCU football.
Period.
Because it was dying, it was dying. No one was watching. It wasn't televised. Now you're getting TV money, you're getting TV deals, and you want to
You getting a better quality of player.
you're getting a better quality of players. And to me, it comes off as jealousy. Like you're jealous that an outsider came in to your conference and was able to bring in this light into the conference, this spotlight. And you've been here for X amount of
Utter.
years,
Right.
and
Utter.
and you haven't done anything like this for this conference. So instead of being jealous and holding a grudge, you need to embrace it and try to enjoy the spotlight that you guys getting. So now you getting a negative spotlight. Now everybody know who Eddie Robinson Jr. is because of what you did. And it's like, got again, making terrible decisions off of temporary emotions. Always super emotion. You you can't, like, you can say you hate Deion, but when you're at the center, when you're on that field and he coming in to give you you embrace him. And then you walk your way, you walk his way, and he go his way, and then you can make your comments of how you don't really like him. But when the cameras are on, no, you do that brotherly embrace, and then you walk away,
Right.
and then you keep it moving, and then you can have your feelings and make your comments away from the cameras. Like, that's the problem with us as people, when we in these positions, and we may not like somebody, but when the cameras are on, we got to show the love, because we already getting, beat down other places. So when we are in the room together, we got to show mad love to each other, and then we can have all ill feelings behind closed doors. But that's just my take at it. I just think it just made him look like a jealous female.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna add on to that. I'm gonna say this. Um, for Robinson to say that, Deion Sanders is not swac is a really emotional statement. Something that you say when your back is up against the wall and you got to say something. Usually those statements don't hold a lot of weight. They're just something that's going to, carry with you forever because of the dumb shit that you said.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Sanders wasn't recruited by SWAC schools. Now, this is back in the day when Eddie Robinson was at Grambling. And you had the Mississippi Valley States.
Also, no relation.
Let's go. So, is it his fault that Bobby Bowden was recruiting in the golden hotbed of college football period in Florida? So now, after Deion has achieved all of this fame and notoriety on his own strength, mind you, right? He comes back to kind of like revitalize a program, Jackson State, a whole conference, right? A whole society that's been kind of neglected and ignored over the years. Yeah, you got Doug Williams, you got Jerry Rice, you got Walter Payton, rest in peace. Those three names that I just put out from SWAC schools, right? And those three names that I just put out are three of the most famous names in NFL history, right? So apparently the SWAC must be doing something right, but they wasn't doing enough. They didn't have the TV deal. It's a requisite for every conference to have a TV deal. They have the crazy, modern stadium. You know what I mean? They have everything. Everybody travels with them all the time. Deion brought that light. No matter how bright it might be, you might not like the brightness of it. You might like it being over there in your little quaint little corner where nobody pays attention to you. But Deion Sanders not like that. Because why? Because he got his son playing quarterback for him. So he's close to the situation. I'm not the biggest Deion Sanders dude in the world. He used to play for the Yankees. Respect. But this situation right here, Mr. Robinson, respectfully, you went over, above, jumped out the window, jumped off the cliff for no reason. And on the block where I'm from, they like to use the terminology, got your skirt pulled up. So for me, I'm looking at you like, well, he is not SWAC. What makes you SWAC? I'm just asking the question. You made a statement about this man not being SWAC. Why is he not SWAC? Because he didn't go to a SWAC school. He wasn't recruited by SWAC schools. Why not? What was wrong with y'all?
Why didn't y'all come knocking on this door?
Right. Why did y'all come knocking? You knocked on Jerry Rice's door. Huh?
Randy
You knocked on
Moss.
Doug Williams' door. You definitely
Yep.
knocked on Walter Payton's door.
Yep.
And this is before Deion.
Yep.
So all I'm saying is that, Mr. Robinson, again, respectfully, you didn't have to treat that man like that because on a regular, normal day before Deion came to Jackson State and brought a lot of notoriety to your conference, you'd have already been shaking Joe Schmo's hand. All right?
Exactly.
Hugging him up. And even if it was a brother, you would have been giving him the soul man shake because you
Yep.
probably would have beat them 55-14
Mm-hmm.
and would have got your party on at homecoming.
Exactly.
So I get it. Deion and them came and ruined your homecoming. I get it.
They ruined the
I get it.
party.
Yeah, I get it. But for you to diss him like that at midfield, that was the opportunity right there to show the unity. Even though you lost, like y'all said, yo, you could have gave him the little dapski and kept it pushing. But
Yeah.
nah, you had to make a scene, and then you had to turn these. How do I say this without sounding flippant or it's not about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
They said that it was a physical altercation. Now, from my vision and my view, I just looked at it as somebody is being upset with somebody else for no reason because they
Yeah.
lost the
My
game.
feelings hurt.
Right. I'm going to make a quick compare and contrast. The reason why Mr. Robinson was upset and did what he did to Deion Sanders totally contrasts, even though you can compare the two, to what Devontae Adams did to the cameraman. Devontae Adams just lost a big game. Big play at the end didn't work out. Whoop-de-woo. He's mad. Here comes the camera guy sticking the camera in his face. Let's get a reaction. And he's like, yo, get the hell out of here.
He got a reaction.
And he got a reaction. Robinson, Deion comes over there to get the post-game handshake. He got a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
The two are the same, but they're different. So for me, Deion is absolutely right. He brings a lot of good reasoning and good situations to what's going on. And the main topic of it for me is the attention and the light that the conference is getting that they would not have gotten in 20 years if Deion Sanders was there. Period.
We wouldn't be talking about a post-game handshake at an HBCU.
Right. Absolutely.
Nowhere. It wouldn't have been on ESPN. It wouldn't have been on FS1. It wouldn't be on this podcast right now. Nobody would be talking about it. It's only because it happened to Deion and it was how it happened. And
right. How it was, how it looked. How it looked. Right. Because I'm quite sure.
Like I said, he just looked jealous.
Right. I'm quite sure you can go on another podcast somewhere down the line or whatever that delve into that type of scenario and talk like that. And they'll have a field day with this.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? So again, we talk about it from the sports aspect of it. We saw what happened. We each have eyes, we understand. But again, we're gonna give you the aspect of it like, yo, the dude was mad. And then he added salt onto it by saying, "Yeah, you're not swac.
You're not swac.
Now you just open. Now you really lifting your skirt up. Why is he not swac?
Exactly. He not swag. He not swag. Like
that's
like,
what I mean.
Like what? All you great SWAC players didn't come back and do the things that Deion is doing for the conference. Right. Just him alone being associated with Jackson State University brings revenue to all of the other schools in the SWAC conference because they playing them and they're playing them on TV and they bringing in high profile players that could go to these Power 5 schools, but they want to come to the SWAC conference and play for Jackson State because Deion's there. And this can also help bring in other high profile coaches to your conference. And it don't even have to be a head coach. It could be offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, running back coaches, D-line coaches. But this is opening up the door to bring in other former players and other former coaches from other conferences to come to the SWAC conference. But, Who am I? I'm
I
not an
mean,
expert. I'm just a
yeah,
person
this
that
is an
that's just
interesting
here.
observer.
Yeah, I'm just observing things. But now that we are here,
Yeah,
let's get to what we are here for.
absolutely.
And that's
The
with the good
East,
old Eastern Conference.
East, yeah, the good old Eastern Conference.
So
Um,
I would figure that you got to start with the defending Eastern Conference champs,
let's go.
the
Yeah,
Boston
let's get it.
Celtics.
Let's get into that early. The
that
Boston Celtics in their situation.
that show that's happening over there.
Yeah,
Um,
that quagmire.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the players react without their coach there. You know, um, they didn't make any really big changes. I know a couple guys left, like role guys like Daniel Tice.
Yeah,
Um,
Malik Fitz
but
left,
yeah,
Stauskas left, Nesmith left. Mm-hmm.
but they still basically have their core guys, and they added Malcolm Brogdon, right?
Yeah,
Malcolm,
they added Malcolm Brogdon,
yeah,
Gallinari, who's going to be out with the ACL, and they added Cabangeli. I can't pronounce his name. Cabangeli,
yeah.
and they got
But I
JD.
think um the Malcolm pickup, it should help them some because they never had a really true point guard. I don't look at Marcus Smart as a true point guard, like a floor general, facilitator out there. Um, so by having Malcolm out there, that kind of, you know, help him out at that position. Still got Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum to me again, I'm just like the it's like the phrase I use for Devin Booker. I think Jason Tatum is a fake superstar.
Mm-mm.
Like he's
Um,
a good player, but I think he's a fake superstar. And the reason why I say that again, look what happened in the finals.
mm-hmm. It fell apart.
Where where was he at?
Right.
Jalen Brown carried the team truly through the Eastern Conference Finals and in the NBA Finals. You know, even though that's going against the Warriors, I already knew that was going to be a quick series for the Warriors, but it was like no resistance from Jason Tatum. It's like he didn't show up at all. I didn't see any type of leadership skills from him. So to me, that team's up in the air because you don't know who the leader is, and I don't trust Jason Tatum. Don't trust him at all.
For the Boston Celtics, for me, it's going to be about how they grow. They were in the NBA Finals last year. The situation notwithstanding, Jason Tatum is 24, Jalen Brown's 25. Both of those kids can use some improvement. I think that Brown definitely more than Tatum in some aspects because he's going to look to be um, getting back to the All Star, form of play that he was doing, and Jason Tatum wants to cement his position as a top five player because in his mind he believes he's a top five player, but
Mm-hmm.
he didn't show that in the NBA Finals, which is the biggest spotlight there could be. Robert Williams has to stay healthy. Robert Williams has to stay healthy. I know that's a big
Yep,
ask. You
that's
know
a
what I
big
mean?
ask.
He played, 61 games and he averaged just under 30 minutes a game. I think that he helped Marcus Smart in his run, Marcus Smart's run to the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And again, I think that Robert Williams makes the Celtics an all-around better team. Um, when you have a squad like the Boston Celtics, who people expect things out of, then they disappoint, then they come out of nowhere, then people always say, "Well, we knew what they were going to do," and this and that. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's all contingent on how it goes. You talked about Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon is definitely going to make them better defensively. I don't think Malcolm Brogdon should have ever left the Milwaukee Bucks, but that's just me. You know what I mean? But I think this Boston Celtics team is going to take a step back It definitely won't be an NBA Finals repeat performance for them. Definitely won't. Definitely won't. They will not be coming out of the East. So
No, no.
that's all I'm gonna say about that. If you got anything else you want to add on, we can move on to Brooklyn or whatever you want to do as far as the Atlantic is concerned.
I mean, we can go to Brooklyn.
All right. Um. Wow. We could do a whole week's worth of
We
a
could do a
show.
whole show on Brooklyn.
Right. Absolutely. But do we forget about the last few months and move forward? You know what I mean? Like Screwface or Mark for Death forward. You know what I mean? Or do we just kind of like let that linger when some, because it's going to be a bump in the road, a hiccup. You know what I mean? Around Christmas, New
Oh, oh
Year's.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Get ready for the
oh
All
yeah.
Star break. Where they at? This and that with Kyrie and what's Kevin Durant thinking and how's Ben Simmons gonna, what's he look like after not playing for almost 2 years? You know what I mean? So that whole thing is Steve Nash. Is he really the coach or he's just the guy in the window? You know what I'm saying? So again, the Brooklyn Nets have a lot of questions. They were the darlings of the league for the last 2 years.
And didn't do nothing.
They still, they still waiting for that, that paint on Flatbush Avenue for the parade. You know what I mean? They still have hope alive and all that good stuff. But it's big a team for me, the Brooklyn Nets. Even though I don't mess with them, they can't get out their own way. And it's been like that since Jason Kidd, Kevin Garnett, Kerry Kittles. It's been like that for the longest time with them. So am I expecting them to make a run? That's based on how this team plays together. Because they didn't really play together last year. Kevin Durant
No.
and Kyrie and the James Harden experiment. Now you got another guy. You slide Ben Simmons in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everything that we see from them dudes is gonna be fresh out the box. So
Well,
that's what that's what it is with that. You want to get into your Sixers? Go right ahead.
well,
Go ahead.
well, well,
I know
well,
we're gonna need some time and some space for that.
well.
But go ahead.
Let me just comment on Brooklyn real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Brooklyn is going to be interesting because, like you said, all that stuff that happened in the past couple months is still lingering around, and
Mm-hmm.
we are all just waiting for the next wave
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Mm-hmm.
to come out of that
Mm-hmm.
organization.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Because
That's right.
when you look at the people that's on this squad, starting with the captain of the BS,
Mm-mm.
Kyrie Irving, you know, I don't understand
Like
how you can have
Kyrie.
faith in a team. Yeah, like how can you have faith in a team that have a guy on there that you can't trust? You can't trust Kyrie. You never know what's going on in this guy's head. He can tell you to your face right now, I am 100% committed to the Brooklyn Nets. I'm 100% committed to playing basketball. And then 2 months later, he's away for the team for personal reasons or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
He got a he got
Okay?
a he got a mop in a bucket because he wants to paint the world because the world is flat.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll
and
be saying
then
stupid. I'm sorry.
we go to Kevin Durant. You
Yes.
know,
KD.
now
Easy peasy
he
sniper. Yes. Easy
oh,
peasy. Yes.
Slim Shady, he out there willing and dealing, and then here's the injury.
Yep.
Here's the injury. Here we go. So now, he's going for 2, 3, 4 weeks, two
Right.
months.
At a
Who
clip.
knows,
Right. Right.
And then we're going to go down to Ben Simmons, who again, like Kyrie, you don't know what this guy is thinking because you thought that Philly media was digging in his butt, was tearing him down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you are in New York now,
In
homie.
Brooklyn to be specific, homie.
Exactly. So all that stuff that you were saying that we was doing and how we was making you feel, the fans, the media, whoop whoop, all that stuff. Well, now you are in New York.
I'm gonna be scared to come outside for real.
And then that's going to translate into, oh, I'm not mentally ready
Right.
to play basketball.
Right.
Oh, my back is hurting now. oh, I got back pain. I gotta sit out. Got back tightness. Um, the fans are booing me. They want me to shoot. I don't know what to do. And then you have the ringleader who's supposed to be coaching the team, and Steve Nash, that half the time look like he don't even know what he's doing.
Because he don't.
He
Because he
just
don't know what he's
standing there.
doing.
This team is a team of individuals. They call no plays. The only thing they call is ISO. So I see them going to the playoffs, most likely a second round exit again.
Probably. Yep. And people gonna wonder what happened.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
and I'm
and
pretty
that's I'm
sure,
telling you, yeah, absolutely. Let
and
them
I'm
get
pretty
off.
sure
Let them
once
get it. Mm-hmm,
if they start out slow,
mm-hmm,
oh my
mm-hmm.
god, if they start out slow, I'm pretty sure you're gonna start hearing about trade rumors again.
Absolutely,
On
absolutely. I'll say this.
with any one of them.
I'll say this about that. Um, I'm going to double down on that right now. Where we at right now? Either Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving will not finish the year with the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, you know, I
That,
agree.
I'm going to say that right now.
I agree. And I'll say this: I think it's more Kyrie than Kevin.
okay, okay.
Because like I said, I don't trust this guy. I can't
Mm,
trust this guy.
mm,
He has shown me so many years that he is so untrustworthy. He did it.
right.
He did with Cleveland. He did with Boston, and now he's doing it with Brooklyn. So I don't understand that if it comes out that he still wants to get traded, nobody in Brooklyn should be shocked. It should not be
Mm-hmm.
a shock at all.
That's right.
But I'm gonna leave that with that. Um, I mean, we can talk about the Bucks.
Yeah, we could talk about the Bucks, the
You know,
Milwaukee Bucks.
all hell Giannis.
Giannis, how I could finally pronounce his name. I'm so proud of myself. I worked on that. I worked on that a long time. I worked on that.
Giannis, my
Giannis
man.
Antetokounmpo. All right. Then they
I
had to
think
throw two brothers in the mix. Messed me all
they,
up.
they still just, and then the one brother plays with him. So
Yeah, the one brother plays with him. So now I'm all messed up in the game. I got to start all over again. But
yeah,
yeah,
so
go ahead.
yeah, so with the Bucks, I think they go as far as Giannis takes them. Last year they fell short. Giannis gave them all they got. They didn't have Chris Middleton. He was out. He was injured, and he didn't play during the playoffs at all. That was a
Mhm.
huge loss for them. They really needed him. So hopefully he's back and healthy. They didn't really make any big adjustments off their team. Also, they coming back with the same team basically.
Yeah, they added
Um,
Joe Ingles.
yeah, which would be a good help, because you notice how um is Joe Ingles European or is he like Canadian, something like that?
I I don't
He
know.
has
Joe
he
Ingles.
he has a European shot. The
Mm-hmm.
way that he shoot, it's like very awkward looking.
Mm-hmm.
But it's high arch
Very
and
very Sean Marion-ish.
yeah, it's high arch, but it always falls in. So he would definitely help them,
Very Sean
with
Marion.
that outside shot, especially when you have a guy named Giannis
Mm-hmm.
who dominates the floor. He attracts so much attention, so he's going to get the doubles and the triple
Right,
teams. So you want to have an opportunity for Joe Ingles to make his mark and hit those open corner threes, top of the
right.
key threes, wing threes. So they should be interesting. I'm looking for them. Always being a strong contender in the Eastern Conference and always NBA final contender. Their name is always in it now.
Um,
But how you feel?
for me, the Milwaukee Bucks, like you said, they added Joe Ingles. But I think the loss of Darvin Ham as one of their coaches. He's the head coach now of the Lakers. I think that is going to be one of the situations to watch for. Brooke Lopez, 34, coming off back surgery. His minutes are going to definitely be reduced. the homie Bobby Portis signed a
Mm-hmm.
deal, 4 years, 49 million. So you already know the expectancy meter is going up on him. And like you said, I think the Milwaukee Bucks, they have they peaked? Probably. You know what I mean? We're going to see what happens with the development of Grayson Allen. If he can really turn into a real basketball player. I mean, his
Yeah.
reputation precedes him. But we'll see what happens with the Milwaukee Bucks. I think at least at the bare minimum, they can get a home court advantage, a top 4 seed. But after that, we'll see. All right, that's the
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee Bucks situation. What you want to get into next?
Let's talk about the Heat.
The Miami Heat.
Let's talk about Jimmy Butler hairstyle #1, how it changed.
Well, wow.
I gotta start out with that. It was a little
Ting-a-ling-a-ling.
interesting.
That's
Yeah,
all I'm saying.
my man, he definitely
Knife
did look
and
like
fork, a
Shabba
fight
Ranks.
for dumpling.
Yes, he had the Shabba Ranks locks going in.
Booyaka,
First he had
booyaka.
wait a minute, first he had the short locks, right?
Yes.
And
And then I don't
then
know what happened between.
and then next thing you know, he
Yeah,
had
he had the
let's
long
say
joints
he had a
past his
growth.
shoulder. Yes, it was.
He
Yes,
had a growth
absolutely.
spurt.
Yeah, he had a growth
And then it
spurt.
was like
Yes,
down here.
he put some. He
I'm like,
rubbed some of that.
wow.
He rubbed some of that blue magic steroid grease on his hair, and it shit went
Yeah.
crazy.
It was like, oh wow.
Now he
Okay. I
got
was like,
dreads.
Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
that
Now
was
he
interesting.
will perform with Yellow Man on Thursday.
Yeah, that was real interesting seeing him like
Yeah,
that.
you know
But
what I mean.
but with the Heat this
Yeah,
year, um losing PJ Tucker is gonna be tough because
yeah,
he was their
yeah,
defensive
yeah.
backbone, brought the toughness to the team.
Toughness of the team, right?
hmm
Right.
When you think of PJ Tucker, he's not a you know, huge on the offensive side, but he still gives you those offensive boards, which is major. He can hit a corner 3, which
Yep.
is major.
And he'll play a little
And
defense.
he's the defense. He's that scrappy guy
Mm-hmm.
that
The dude that you don't want to see in the park.
you don't want to see him at the park because you look at him like, oh, what he like 6'9", 6'8", 6'9".
Let me tell you.
Yeah, I got him.
Let me tell you something. PJ Tucker is that dude in the park. If he's looking at the same girl you looking at, and y'all playing in the game, he's
Uh-huh.
gonna try to use you. So that's the type of dude that you don't want to see in the park. And he gets
Yeah,
it in. He ain't never leaving off the court.
yeah,
And if you
yeah.
do, he's gonna probably fight the dude that was on his team for making him lose. That's who PJ Tucker is.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
losing that,
right.
whew,
Yeah, it leaves it with a hole in the middle. So that leaves us with Jimmy Butler. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete. 33, his age 33 season. And I think that the potential can be wiped away. Now it's about showing and proving. We already know what you are expected to do, but
mhm.
fulfilling that, you know what I mean, and getting that done is another thing. Wear and tear. What do
Yeah,
we expected Jimmy Butler to be that all-out guy for the Miami Heat?
yeah,
Kyle Lowry, he's entering his age 36 season. So are they
yeah.
getting old? Like, what are we doing here, Yada? Are they getting older? Like, what are we doing?
They getting older at key position
Mm-hmm.
and so at others. Cause you look at they got Tyler Hero. All right, we know where he is offensively, but on the defensive side, he a liability.
Mm.
You got a guy on your squad that you gave 90 million to,
Right.
and
Go ahead.
Duncan Robinson. He
Go
didn't
ahead. Say his
see the
name. Say his
court in the
name one more
playoffs.
time. Go ahead. Say his name one more time.
Duncan Robinson gave
Yes.
that man $90 million, and he did not see the court during the postseason last year at all because he's a
Because he was too busy
defensive
counting. He was too
liability.
busy counting money.
Yeah, like you gave this
Stealing
guy,
money.
and I'm looking at Pat Riley like, Pat, what are you, $90 million? And this guy don't even get no clock. Like you just got money to burn down in South Beach. I see you just got money to burn. So
I mean,
you know,
he's
I
got to earn.
I don't know.
he's got to earn it. I mean, again, he's respected as one of the league's premier shooters, but defensively, he's suspect, suspiciously suspect. He shot like 37% on 3 pointers last year. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's there. You know what I mean? But where are you on the defensive side of the ball? On the defensive side of the ball, you're the L word, liability. Jimmy Butler
Yeah.
can't do it all. He's gonna need some kind of help to come from somewhere.
And then you
Um,
got Bam, you
yeah, you
know.
got Bam in the middle holding it down, and I think that what he does is he's reliable. But again, he's going to be encouraged more to participate in the scoring from the perimeter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So,
that takes him away from the basket. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So again, the Miami Heat, one of those teams that I think that again it's going to be a struggle for them. They're going to have their ways when they get a nice little 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 game winning streak because they're not that
Yeah.
far removed from being in the finals. Even though it was in the bubble, that was
Yeah.
still a couple years ago. They still have pretty much that same nucleus of the team. But
Yeah.
as far as that division, I think that they're in a division that could help them, push, and get them to a top seed in the Southeast Division, because the teams in that division are all that strong. I mean, Atlanta, you know what I mean, and we'll get into them later on. But I think that
Mm-hmm.
the Miami Heat still have enough, but it's an 82-game stretch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll see where the 36-year-old Kyle Lowry is at in February and March. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
because
Jimmy
he always
33.
got
So
a back issue or a hamstring issue.
oh, his
So
feelings, hurt.
oh,
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
and on that note, let's talk about the Toronto Raptors, the team
Let's
Kyle
go.
Lowry was from.
The Toronto Raptors, the old Toronto Raptors. All right. Yeah, the old Toronto Raptors. I
Yeah,
mean,
don't really know what they're gonna be this year,
they added the homie Otto Porter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Scooped them up off a championship roster. So you know what I mean. But I think that the Toronto Raptors they have to gain respectability back, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the only way by doing that is to be the team that people saw them as a couple years ago, the gritty team that nobody expected to come out and make any really type of noise until they got a little older and they got a little more experience. But now they got a championship that they can fall
Yeah. I
back on.
mean, yeah. Well, they got they got Scotty Barnes. I really like Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I like Scotty. Scotty Barnes a really tough. What we like to call them scrappy players too.
Right.
Get down there. He will fight you tooth and nail for a board, and he has a nice mid range shot. Um, and he's one of those up and coming young small forwards.
Rookie of the year.
Um, yeah, yeah, yes, he was. And then you got OG. You got
What
you
happened to
still got
Pascal Siakam?
Pascal
What happened to
Pascal
him?
Siakam.
He
Pascal
was supposed to
Siakam
be.
to me,
Yeah, he's like a one hit wonder, like return to the
yeah,
Mac.
yeah. It's like one someday. For example, he'll drop 33 points tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and then tomorrow will be like 10. The next game be like 12, 15. He might give you a double double, and then the next game it'd be like 35.
Right.
And then the next game it'd be like 8. He didn't
No,
fouled
he
out. You
fouled out.
know, yeah, it's like you don't know what you're gonna get with this guy. He's super
Right.
inconsistent and he's up in the air. You can't really rely on him. And then you got, Fred Van Vliet, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Gary Trent Jr.
Gary Trent Jr. out there. You
OG.
still got Thad
Mm-hmm.
Young out
Mm-hmm.
there,
Mm-hmm.
so you just don't know about this team. I see them again, a playing team. I see them as a playing team. Maybe an 8th seed, maybe a 7th seed. But you never know. They play hard, but I don't really see them as a true threat or a true, team like coming out of the East at all.
And I agree with you on that. And one of the main reasons why I agree with you in regards to Toronto is because they're, I don't want to say woefully, but they're consistently undersized in the middle. And I think
Always.
that a lot of teams take advantage of that. Um, I think that when you rank 20th in the league in 3-point percentage, you get guys that can find the basket from long distance a little bit better than that.
Hmm.
Of where they're going to be as far as rankings are concerned, I feel like Toronto is going to be a squad that people are going to you know not look past, but not look forward to playing.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah. It's
mean?
gonna be like, oh, we played Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably gonna be like a gritty game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unless we just go out there and just break it open.
Right.
Everybody's hitting threes and just hitting everything. But other than that, yeah, it's gonna be a gritty game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's move on to let's go to Chicago.
All right. Chicago Bulls. All right. Yeah, they made DeMar DeRozan look like DeMar DeJordan.
Gonna have his statue out there.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, shout out to him, for really, really, coming into his own in Chicago. Maybe a change of scenery helped. Apparently, it did. Again, I think that the kid that they got in 2020, hold on, Patrick Williams, he
Hmm.
definitely has to take a big step forward. I think that DeMar and Zach Levine, they produced some really really nice numbers in their first year together, but I think that keeping Vucevic involved is going to be
Hmm.
crucial for them and getting into what they want to do as far as being respected. And I'm going to keep saying respected because there's a lot of teams in the NBA, particularly in the Eastern Conference, that talk it, but they don't really walk it because it's the
Hmm.
same four teams that always end up on the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Chicago is one of those teams that has to kind of like get it back. And I think that it worked into their advantage to have a guy like DeMar DeRozan come in and kind of like not take over, but show people that the money that you gave me, I'm going to earn it. And his numbers kind of showed that. But again, they have the young guys that they can make runs, and being healthy is going to be crucial to what they do in Chicago. But again, hopefully that we'll be hearing a lot about the Bulls. What's your thoughts on
Um.
how the Bulls are positioned?
Um. Well, health is number one
Mhm.
because you got Lonzo Ball there,
Yeah, right.
who's they're saying he's gonna be out. Again,
Mhm.
he's still recovering from,
Right.
like, I believe he just had surgery. Like, was it
Mm-hmm.
ankle
Mm-hmm.
again? Like,
Yep.
so with him being out, that gives opportunity for a guy like Kobe White to step up.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, to step up and show that you didn't waste that draft pick on me. That I can ball out.
Yeah,
And
he averaged 12 and a half points in 27 minutes in game last year. So
yeah,
absolutely.
so I'm looking to see an increase in that. And then, when you think of last season, they started out hot. They was hot. The Bulls was hot. They people in the first half of the season, they was already crowning them Eastern Conference
Eastern Conference
champions
champion. Right.
already.
Right. Right.
And as the season progressed, especially after that All-Star break, they came back to reality. And it was like, oh, wait a minute, these other guys, these other teams are pretty good. A lot was resting on DeRozan's shoulders. Um, I think he's a great leader for the team. Um, I always like, you know, Demar. I always thought he was a pretty decent player. I'm waiting for Zach Levine to show me that you are an all star. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure you got the all-star votes last year,
Mhm.
but I need to see him be that star. I need to see him separate himself, and he's he's falling underneath that category. I put these players fake superstars.
Yeah, it's a lot of
You
that going
know,
on in the
it's,
NBA.
it's a lot, and with you they brought in Andre Drummond. They brought in Gordon Dragic.
Hmm.
So I'm just hoping that the Bulls, take the next step. They still got Derek Jones Jr.
Yeah,
You
I was
know,
gonna talk about him
you
when.
know he's another guy that I need to see step up.
Yeah, he
And
had got hurt.
show, yeah, like when we talk about health, he
Hmm.
missed a lot of time last year.
Hmm.
So I need these guys, to come back healthy, and to show that you was working in the gym, and that now you are stepping your game up. So I don't know.
Yeah. Again, when you talk about the Bulls, health isn't going to be the priority. We talk about Derrick Jones, who in the game against the Nets got hurt less than I think a minute into the game, and then Zach Levine got hurt I think the next night, and then
Yep.
um, what happened with Lonzo Ball. So again, the Billy Donovan's got a lot to deal with. You know what I
Yes, he
mean? As far
does.
as injuries and keep 911 on speed dial because you know what I mean. Where we going next? Yada.
uh, I mean, let's go. Let's go Cleveland.
Hmm.
Cleveland.
Um, I'm
Yeah.
gonna set it off with this one.
Go ahead.
I think the Cavaliers are going to be better than people give them credit for, but don't quote me on that. Donovan Mitchell is going to have to be the man. In New York, he wouldn't really had to be the man, and I'm glad that the Knicks didn't get Donovan Mitchell, but that's neither here nor there. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be one of these exciting teams that front line. I'm excited to see what Jared Allen is going to do. You know what I mean? I think that what they have to do is um, get Evan Mobley in a frame of mind and say, well, don't worry about the rookie of the year. You didn't get that. All right, that's cool. Don't worry about it. We're going to keep it pushing. We got a nice little nucleus going on here. You know what I mean? And we were surprised last year. So build on that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have somebody, that comes in here in Donovan Mitchell that can definitely make a difference. It can make a market improvement in what goes on in Cleveland, and I think that again, let them surprise some more people. They added Robin Lopez, Ricky Rubio, um, could come off the bench, of course. You know what I mean? But I think that on paper, this Cleveland Cavaliers team is loaded and ready. For what? I have no idea. They could be challenged for a Central Division title. They can challenge for a fifth or sixth spot in the East, or they could be a playing team. I give them
Yeah.
that much credit at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Hey, Yada, what you
Yeah.
think?
To me, I think Cleveland is also going to be an exciting team. Cleveland actually had one of my favorite young guys on the team, in Darius Garland.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed watching him play last year. I love how he took over the team, from Saxon. He basically helped open the door for Saxon to be traded. Because Garland took that next step, and he was
Mm-hmm.
running the Cleveland Cavaliers, and
Mm-hmm.
and they looking at Colin Saxon like, oh, we don't need you,
Right.
we got him.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I feel comfortable enough that you still have you young, you have a lot of trade value, that I can get a Donovan Mitchell here, basically almost straight up for you. So I'm looking for Garland to continue to be the leader of this squad, with Donovan Mitchell being his co-star,
Mm.
not the other way around. I
Okay.
think
Okay. That's fair.
this
Right.
is his team,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I also do agree with the comments about Evan Mobley. Like you gotta get that out your mind. You are a really talented, young center in a league that we are basically playing positionless basketball. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so having him, hopefully I see him improve. This other guy they got in here, the young guy, Dean Wade, he's
Mm-hmm.
showing me some things. Like he's out here in preseason, really making a name for himself and showing folks that hey, I'm pretty good. I'm
Right.
really good,
Coming
and
off from the
you know,
injury. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the addition of Robin Lopez and also still having Kevin Love
Right.
as
Right.
your bench
Right.
leader coming
Right.
off the bench
Mm-hmm.
who can still give you those corner threes, top of the key threes, give you a little bit on the defensive end here and there. He give you a good 20-25 minutes a game, like really, really good minutes. So I'm looking to see them being, I can see them being a 7, 6, 7, maybe even a 5. Like I said, they're really talented. They're young, and you don't know what you're gonna get from this team. So
Right.
it could be
Right.
a surprise.
Right.
You could turn around come playoff time. You're like, oh crap, Cleveland's the 5th seed,
Mm-hmm.
or it could
Mm-hmm.
be, oh wow, they
Wow.
fighting in this playoff in this playing game.
Right.
So I definitely agree with you with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it should be interesting to see Cleveland. You know,
All right.
um, what we want to go with next?
Let's rock with the Indiana Pacers.
The Pacers.
The
Uh,
Indiana Pacers. What are we doing with the Indiana Pacers?
they need to make a trade with the Lakers.
Yeah, I was. That's why I brought them up. 'Cause I knew you were gonna talk about
They
the
need to make
heel.
the trade. Make the trade
Yeah, eventually
because
they gonna push the button on that eventually. I
they
think
got
so.
it. Like the Lakers and the Pacers need to be on the phone 24/7. Just make the trade. Make the trade. Get these two guys off your team. Like you are you are a team that you are rebuilding right now. Okay, nothing
Right?
is
Absolutely.
happening. Your roster is a rebuilt roster. You're another one that's going to be silently tanking on the
That's
low,
why. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
quiet tanking. This is a quiet
Because you're not
tanking
expected to
team.
do nothing, right?
Not
Absolutely.
expect. I'm looking at the roster now.
Built an
Who
excuse.
scares me? Who scares me on this roster? Nobody.
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 Mm-hmm.
No. Buddy Hill. No. Miles Turner. No, not by themselves, but on a team that's ready to win now.
Right.
Yes. But on this team, you give me TJ McCollum. Like, come on now. Come on.
So, so basically, the consensus is that the Indiana Pacers are going to be in the lottery.
Yes, they are a lottery team. They are quietly tanking. They in the
And
sweepstakes for
victim.
Victor or for the other kid
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Scoop.
from the G, yeah, Scoop,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, from the G League. So I ain't got nothing else to say about the Pacers. What about you?
Um, I feel like the Indiana Pacers are kind of like weighing their options right now. I think that again that trade is just kind of like needs to be formalized. That's all.
Hmm.
It's probably a foregone conclusion that they're gonna get those guys out on the West Coast, and then the Lakers are gonna start their you know spring to success and really challenge in the Western Conference. But yeah, I don't really see the Indiana Pacers winning even more than 25 or 30 games. You know what I mean? Tyrese Halliburton, notwithstanding, this kid tries to do what he does, but again, I don't know. Chris Duarte, he was looking like rookie of the year candidate, but then he kind of fell off. I didn't.
He fell all the way off.
Yeah, he had a toe sprain and all types of things was going on with them. But I think that after they got rid of the Sabonis kid, they really had to just kind of like change their whole philosophy, man. And I think their philosophy right now is to try to get
Quietly tank.
quietly get Victor in the mix, so then
Yep.
they can do what they need to do. But we're not going to talk too much about the Indiana Pacers. We said that, and that's where we are. So where we going now?
Let's go with the Hawks. Let's
Atlanta Hawks.
go with Atlanta Hawks.
Okay, they added. I watched them in the Dubai games. I think they were playing Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dejounte Murray looks like he's a perfect fit for this squad. I think that when you add, a veteran like Frank Kaminsky, who's going to give you this 30 minutes, dirty, not 30, dirty, DIRTY.
Yes, he gonna give you them 30 minutes.
Yes, absolutely, off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Holiday provides a little, insurance, but Dejounte Murray is gonna be the guy that's gonna kind of like take some of the pressure off of Trey and really open up the court for them. I think that front line, what they have in Atlanta, is a beast. Um, again, those guys are gonna have to, kind of like acclimate themselves to like seeing the ball on the perimeter, and they're gonna just really doing the dirty work, getting rebounds and putbacks. And Trey likes to get busy, throw the alley oops in the air. But I think that they got to be better defensively than 26th ranked. Um, they need to stop letting teams back in games. Trey Young has already established himself as one of the league stars. He could take over a game by himself. He could dominate. He could dominate without having to really have a bunch of scores. He could do a lot of assists. You know what I mean? And just play an all-around game. But I think with Dejounte Murray is going to make them more well-rounded. And I like the Atlanta Hawks. I like the Atlanta Hawks to go real far in the East this year. What's your thoughts on that?
The Hawks to me.
Uh-oh.
I can say this. I don't like Trey Young at all.
He looked like an old man in the young body.
Yeah, he falls in the category of fake superstar.
Okay.
Because
strong.
All of those 3-pointers that he's shooting from half court and floating and this and that. But guess what? They don't equal wins. They don't equal wins. My second favorite word. He's a defensive liability. He's small. He's skinny. He gets back down a lot. It's just he's all flash. He gives you the illusion that what he does matter on the court, but then when at the final score, the Hawks are still losing. Now, I will say this: adding Murray is definitely going to help a lot because now that's a guy that I like, and I thought that. I thought that the Spurs was bugging by letting this guy go. But then I was like, oh, here we go. They're quiet tanking. Because why would you trade away your best player, your star player who's young for, to be able to tank. But adding him's gonna help a lot. John Collins coming back. I like John Collins a lot. He's another one of those scrappy guys that does everything. He's a great defender. Yep. I knew that was coming. Why nothing? I knew that was coming. But he's a scrappy guy. He's great on the defensive end. He can score. He can hit the three, hit the mid range. But with them, these guys are always undersized. You're in a division in the conference with Joel Embiid, and you think Clint Capella is going to guard him? Clint Capella is 6'10". So you got a 6'10" guy over on a 7-footer who can score from anywhere. Again, when you think of the Nets, you got Clint Capella guarding Nick Claxton. Boston, Clint Capella on Um, Robert Williams. So it's like these guys are undersized, and you live by the three, you die by the three, and that's how I see the Hawks. I see. I don't know. Maybe a play-in team. I don't know. Again, you don't
Well,
know. Maybe a 7 seed,
hmm.
maybe a 6 seed, but definitely a first round exit.
Okay.
I don't see him going super far.
I mean, they've had increases in wins they had over the last 4 or 5 years. So
Hmm.
I think that for them to be looked at as a team that is a play-in. I mean, again, for what they've achieved and accomplished, I give them a little bit more respect to that. I don't know if they're going to win the Southeast Division, but I give them a little bit more respect to that. But I see where you're coming from too, as well, because again, they're going to have to prove it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I get that. What are we doing next?
I mean, we can go to Washington.
All right, the Washington, uh, not so wizardly Wizards. All right. Um, what are we doing with the Washington Wizards? They've been, kind of, lonely for a long time. Um, they still, have, what they have in Washington. They added Will Barton, Taj Gibson for what it's worth, Monte
Yeah.
Morris, Deion Wright. They got I think a very good draft pick in Johnny Davis. They
Hmm.
added those as a rookie. Um, Wes Unseld Jr. Is going to be back to do some things, and they have to be
Hmm.
good because remember last season people was talking about the Wizards.
Yeah.
I did,
Yeah.
and one of my favorite young players in the league is Rui Hachimura.
I like him too. I like Hachimura a lot too. Yeah.
And I think that he's going to be a star. I think that he's going to be the one to help the return of Washington to prominence. It won't be this year, but I think that let them get together. Let Bradley Beal do what he does, if he's going to be there or not. Um, they've improved defensively with guys like Monty Morris and Taj Gibson.
Hmm.
Um, again, Kristaps Porzingis. We're going to
That's
see
your
again.
guy. I was waiting for you to say his
You
name.
know,
That's
I,
your
I
guy.
wasn't going to say it, but
I know. That's your
it felt
man.
like throwing up. Chris Porzingis. Yeah, I said it again. But I got people still talking about how he when he got drafted, how I went crazy on the radio. I was wild. But again, that's neither here nor there. He's gonna do his thing in Washington, and hopefully he can get
Hmm.
his career on track. And if he does, then
Yeah.
him, Rui Hachimura, like
Yeah.
I mean, it might be something brewing.
They
But
they
that
they
depends
could
on
they,
what
they
they
could
do. What's your
potentially
thoughts on
have
that?
a little squad in Washington, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm,
Um I'm definitely excited to see Johnny Davis play because
mm-hmm,
um the kid could play, watch him in some, in college
mm-hmm.
and things like that. So I'm really interested to see him team up with Bradley Bill and the Kyle Kuzma,
Yeah.
with with Hachimura, and then
Porzingis. Yeah. I mean,
Porzingis. So
yeah.
on paper,
Right.
it's looking a little sweet. It look real promising
Mm-hmm.
on paper,
Right.
but at the end of the day, nah,
Yeah.
because again, like we say about Bradley Bill, it's like the money or the championship. He chose
mm-hmm.
the money. He chose a lot of the money. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
gave him just about all
All
of
the
the
money.
money.
Right. All the
Okay,
money.
all the money. So
Right.
he gotta really live up to that contract. Stay healthy. Health is key. Like health is the number one factor in just about all the teams.
Absolutely.
If you can stay
They're injury
healthy,
away from the lottery. Right.
yeah,
A lot of them.
that's
Right.
that's it. But definitely they will definitely get some help defensively with Will Barton. That was a nice defensive pickup to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
bring in. So I mean, again, this is a team that is unknown. So there's no really there's no real high expectation for this squad. They're gonna score again. There's no high, no expectation for the Wizards.
Mhm.
So they're playing, fool's gold. You know.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So we can go. We can talk about Charlotte. We talk about the
Okay.
Hornets. Look at that.
Talking about the Charlotte Hornets. Shout out to Tiffany. She's down there in Charlotte. She told me that she's like 5 minutes away from the arena in that situation down there. So hopefully
Mm.
that's another team that could do some things or
Yeah,
could not do some things. But
yeah.
talk about them a little bit. What's your thoughts?
Listen. They got the Ball brothers on the squad. They got they got Lamelo and Leangelo on the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Uh oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh oh.
Uh-oh. And you know what? LeVar Ball gets respect from this corner, man. He
Yes.
said it.
Oh,
He said it. You know what I mean? And he had a plan, and people thought he was bugging, and he was crazy, and he was
and
this, and
it
he was
worked.
that. And that black man got all three of his sons in the
He got
league.
3 sons in the NBA.
And again, salute to his foresight,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
To make sure that his sons, did it the right way. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of other stuff came with it, but hey, at the end of the day, it's about the economic thing, right? So
Yep.
cash rules
He got
everything.
him.
So again, he got those three kids in the league, and salute to him. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. I totally respect him too. When people always thought he was bugging. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, listen, he doing it his way. It might not be the way that you would have done it, but guess what? It was his path. And at the end of the day, he got his 3 sons in the NBA.
Right.
But Charlotte is a team, bunch of young guys. I like LaMelo. He to me, he's the better ball brother. He's
Mm-hmm.
the better ball. Okay, he's the better ball.
Right. The better. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Yeah.
He's the better one. They got Kelly Oubre Jr. down there. Dennis Smith Jr., Terry
Hey, Rozier.
Rozier,
Right.
who's
Mm-hmm.
there, and
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Hayward, who has
Oh
been
my. Yeah.
stealing money.
Yep.
This guy has
He
been
needs a. He needs a.
stealing money from the NBA.
He needs a Riddler suit because he's a big question mark all the
He
time.
been he's been stealing money
Mm-hmm.
ever since he left the Jazz. Everybody was on him. He went to Boston, got hurt,
Yep.
stole
Yep.
millions of dollars. Now he's down in Charlotte, robbing these guys blind.
Under an assumed name.
Yeah, he has been. It has been a tragedy. I've been saying this
Right.
for years. Like ever
Right.
since he got to Boston, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, and then when he came back, he wasn't the same. I'm like, oh my god! I said, this guy is stealing money.
Yeah.
He is.
He's
He's
a
stealing
mummy out
money.
there. He's a
Yeah,
mummy out there. He's always
and
hurt. But
then also they still got Miles Bridges on the team. Like, what are they gonna do with
yeah,
Miles Bridges?
what's his situation
What
like?
like
We
what's
don't
gonna
talk
happen?
about those things over here, but that's his situation that he got to deal with.
Yeah,
But I think that LaMelo Ball, he might be the most electrifying player in the game. Because when you're watching the Charlotte Hornets, you're watching to see and waiting to see what he's going to do, what kind of
I
freaky
can't take my
pass,
eyes off of him.
what kind of freaky pass he's going to throw, like what he's going to do, his presence out there, and that in itself makes Charlotte very, very interesting. Now they have to
Hmm.
play the style of basketball to back that
Yes.
up. I think that what they have, they didn't really add anything veterans wise.
Mm-mm.
They got a couple of rookies, Mark Williams, Bryce McGowan. They didn't really lose anything, so they're coming in
Nope.
basically with the same squad. Mason Plumlee, if
Yep.
he can be a little bit more effective in the middle and hold everything down, I think that
PJ
they have
Washington.
they have yeah the kid Washington. They have the makings of a sneaky contender. Now, playing
Yes.
is definitely in their future.
Yeah.
That's one
No,
of the teams that you
definitely.
can mark in as a playing team for
Yeah.
me.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
And you know how like before they was how the ball they kept saying that Lonzo was supposed to be like the second coming of Magic, with
Right.
his ball handling and
Really
passing
skilled,
skills.
right.
Nah, it's LaMelo. Like
Right.
his passing skills, his his sight, his vision, his court vision
Right.
is crazy, and
Right.
people don't really appreciate that. Like his court vision is sick, and like you said, when you watch the Charlotte Hornets play, like I'm watching him,
Mm-hmm.
I can't take my eyes off of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
when he's not in the game, you can tell because it's like, oh,
The game
okay,
slows down.
yeah, it's like,
You don't anticipate as much when
yeah,
he's
it's like, oh,
when Melo's in
okay,
the game. It's like you're like, okay, let me make sure I follow the ball, and then you
yeah,
kind of keep because we watch it from a different perspective because we're sports heads, right? We're not just watching the guy with the ball. We're watching who's making back cuts.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So when you watch this kid LaMelo Ball play, you're gonna be watching for who's cutting to the basket for alley oops. You know what I mean? So
mm-hmm,
watching through a point guard's eyes, who's a point guard first.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it puts a whole different perspective on the game. You have to be aware. You have to be in the game because before I mentioned
mm-hmm,
playing basketball, organized basketball with a kid named Byron Kershaw. Salute to him.
mm-hmm,
And you have to really be aware when you're playing with great passers because they see you
yeah,
when you don't see yourself open.
exactly.
So
You don't even know you open it. You know
yeah, you don't
that
even know
ball
you
is
open
right
it.
there.
I see you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So again, LaMelo is going to be very, very exciting down there in Charlotte.
yep.
And again, they could surprise or they could disappoint.
Don't yeah. Again, there's one of those teams that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's up in the air. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they can go on, like you said, a winning streak,
Mm-hmm.
6, 7, 8 games, or they can be on a 12-game losing streak.
Right. They can get bored in the middle of February and be like,
Yeah,
oh man, here we go, another trip to the Midwest. And you know what I mean?
yeah. And then next thing you know, you look at the stand and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Charlotte is in the play-in
Right.
tournament. It's like, oh, okay. So,
Right.
another
Yeah,
young team.
absolutely.
I mean, we can get into the Knicks and the Sixers because the rest of the teams, truthfully, when you think about it, I mean, we got Orlando. I mean,
It's
unless you want to talk about Panchero.
Yeah. Send all your emails to Yada Bear. Send your emails to Yada Bear. I was gonna talk. We wanted to talk about the whole East, but like she
I
said,
mean, we can
we
talk
already
about
kind
the
of figure out
Magic.
what they're gonna do. Orlando's and the Detroits of
Yeah,
the world.
again,
We'll give y'all some time.
these teams are to me are tanking. They are going to the lottery. I mean, like, all right, Cole Anthony to me, I like Cole Anthony. I like watching him play too. He's a hard worker. He's really pesty on the defensive end. He plays hard. I like watching him. I like Cole Anthony, and then it's like, okay, you got Markel Phelps. It's like,
Mhm.
who knows?
Right.
And then you got Pablo, the young guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really know what you're gonna get from the Magic. I mean, you still got you got Jalen Shrugs there. Another year with him. Like
The
these
Wendell
guys are
Carter.
young,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, Mo Bamba out there.
Mobamba.
Mo Bamba.
Mobamba.
Or you got RJ Hampton down
Yes,
there
I'm
now.
saying
So,
Mobamba.
so again, this is a young team that we don't really have a lot of expectations for this season. Um, they could surprise us, but highly unlikely.
They would surprise us if they won 30 games. That would be the surprise.
Now send
Right.
him, send this guy right there those
I'm
emails,
just saying
okay?
that would be the
Send
surprise.
send him send him those emails.
I'm
Send
saying that
him.
would be if they won 30 games, that would be the surprise. Like it would be people. I mean, if 30 games, what 30 and 50, you know what I mean? If they won 30 games, then people would be impressed that they made some strides. So we're not gonna talk about the Detroit Pistons.
I mean,
You know what I mean? And what they did this season in the
what
dream
what
with Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duran
I mean,
and
I like Jalen Dunn. I like Jalen Ivy. I mean, it's again, these are young teams that we don't know what we're going to get. We got the K Cunningham, he
right,
coming in with another year.
Deep
Hopefully we
Bay.
see a little
Mm-hmm,
bit
mm-hmm,
more improvement.
mm-hmm,
You got the Corey Josephs of the
mm-hmm,
league
mm-hmm.
there, the Sadiq Bey.
Right,
They brought in Marvin Bagley the third, but I just saw the other day they was helping him off the court with a leg injury.
right,
So it's like I don't even know if this guy gonna be, if he gonna be back.
right,
They added Kimber Walker, but I mean, what Kimber
yeah,
Walker are we getting? Again,
right,
he's another guy I don't trust because
right.
he has quit on plenty
Mm-hmm,
teams,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I mean he quit on the Knicks.
Right, we did. Thank you for reminding us. I mean, 'cause
Yeah, so I just had
I
to
was
throw.
all for that Kemba Walker thing. I wanted that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I thought Kimber Walker going to the Knicks was
Yep,
a really good
absolutely,
fit. I was like, oh,
absolutely.
that's a good move. And then it was like, whoa, what is going on with Kimber
Right,
Walker? Is he hurt,
right.
or do he just not want to play? And it
Mm-hmm.
kind of turned out that he just didn't want to play.
You didn't want to play.
He didn't want to come off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, bro, you not Kimber Walker from Charlotte anymore.
Right, right.
You are years removed from that.
You are.
You,
You're not Kemba Walker. You can't be Walker.
you
But
can't.
but listen. We did that. We talked about the teams in the Eastern Conference. We hope y'all do what y'all do. Do your due diligence. Like what you like.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Watch.
whoa, whoa. Wait a
Oh,
minute.
what? Okay.
We didn't talk about our teams.
Yeah. We was almost gonna. I was gonna.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
My bad.
So, we hope that y'all do what y'all do. But we saved the best for last. All right, as you can see, we have the Philadelphia 76ers fan in the house. You know what I mean? I hold down for the New York Knicks. So we're gonna, in the interest of Philadelphia fans who we love and
Yeah.
respect and all that, so we got to play y'all. Um, Talk about your Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, it is. You thought that the Eagles buzz, in the off season was crazy in the city. Oh, the Sixers bug is through the roof.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we are out like we are. Our expectations is NBA Finals. That's our expectations. Getting
So
to the finals.
this is the year.
This is
Right
this
here.
is the year we have the squad.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
We made a lot of great off-season moves to bring in that toughness that we had been lacking.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, we brought we stole PJ Tucker. Okay,
And the
let's put
sneaker
that out there.
collection. And the
Okay, and
sneaker
in the
collection.
sneaker collection, yeah, we brought in Trez. We got the Anthony Milton from Memphis, Daniel House Jr. So our bench, because we had a horrible bench for the past 5 years. Our bench has been our biggest Achilles heel. It always have. When we had going back to when we had Jimmy Butler, you know, when we had him on our squad, our starting five was great. We out there moving and shaking. As soon as we had to make those substitutions, it was like the quality. It was like a huge difference in quality. We couldn't score, we couldn't defend, we couldn't do nothing with our second unit. This right here is like one of the best second units that we ever had in a long time. Bringing in, James Harden resigning with us, giving us that deal so that we had the opportunity to bring in these guys that I named earlier to help out in the rotation and to be a part of that bench. We coming back with a healthy Joel Embiid who got robbed of his MVP last year, but I'm not going to talk about that because I'm going to focus on this year's MVP run with him back healthy, his face together. He had his surgery on his hand. He looks dialed in, locked in. James Harden came back. My man didn't shed some pounds off. That was all that hater weight he had coming in looking really fit and ready to win a championship here in Philly. And then let me talk about my young gun and Tyrese Maxey coming in for his third year. Um, the one thing I didn't understand about last year is how Ja Morant won Most Improved Player. How do you win Most Improved after you won Rookie of the Year the following season? Like, how do you improve from being
And
the
math,
best?
and math, and math.
Yeah, the math ain't math, and then when you have a guy and Tyrese Maxey who double his point average. Matter of fact, he almost tripled his point average last season. Especially coming in where it was a whole soap opera with the whole Ben Simmons situation, being able to step in and that point guard slot even before we brought in James Harden, and he was running the offense. He was stepping in, being Robin to Joel's Batman out there on the court. Um, and then also being able to maintain that when we got James Harden. So another year with Doc. Like I said, we got some toughness going on here. One of our second biggest issue from last year was rebounding. We was like almost last in second chance points because we had nobody crashing like the offensive glass on our end. Well, now we have two pit bulls and Trez and PJ Tucker down there. So I'm expecting a lot more second chance points. I am expecting this team to make it to the NBA final.
Mm-mm.
Yes, I'm saying that right now, to the NBA final. I'm hoping that we can take the East as we should. Um, I think the only people that can stop us is ourselves. And we have to stay healthy. Again, that's the big key point. We have to stay healthy. Everybody has to buy into this new offense that we have running here. We should be seeing a lot of movement off the ball. I'm looking for a lot of more cuts to the basket, and I'm looking for movement, not just standing around watching Joel go to work, because Joel going to go to work. He's going to get his points. He's going to get that triple team. So I just need my guys who's going to be wide open. There's going to be a lot of wide open shots for them to hit those shots. That's I'm just going to leave it there. NBA
Right.
Finals.
I hear that. As far as the Philadelphia 76ers are concerned, for me, I think that this is a team that has been on the ascend for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's well deserved. I think that they waited, they did what they had to do. A couple times the ball didn't bounce their way. It's okay. They come back. Um, Joel and me got robbed. Simple and plain. And I'm not a Sixers fan when nobody's stretching the imagination, but it is what it is. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. He's going to prove that he make it really clear cut in regards to the MVP this year. I think he's one of the best players in the league. Absolutely the best center in the league. Absolutely. So nobody's messing with him. I don't care who you call. Jokic, come on, man, knock it off. Real talk. You know what I
Wait,
mean?
can I just say for a
Yeah,
second?
mm-hmm.
Because in previous years it was always he didn't play enough games. He wasn't healthy enough.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Cool. I respect that. I was like, you know what? That is right. He missed a lot of games last season. Oh my God. He How does a center win the scoring title but not the MVP? A center hasn't won a scoring title since Shaq did it in 99 2000 season.
I mean, when you talk about with Embiid in the games, he played 68 games last year, right? I think that he did everything he needed to do, but they're always going to look for that out. You know what I mean? And Joel Embiid should be on a mission this year not to give him an out. Like you said, health is going to be, you know, the main concern. Get him, you know, get up to that 75, 76, 77 game. You know, we know it's going to be some nights where but there's some nights that you can take off inside the game. We talked about that before. But I think that, Tyrese Maxey, another year to grow. PJ Tucker is going to add that toughness and grit, and the Phillies, fans and the faithful going to love that. They already experienced it seeing him play in his previous stops, but now he's a Sixer, so he's just going to be a reflection of the town and how they move blue collar, diving on the floor and getting out into the game. Absolutely, James Harden is his revival season, kind of sorta. He doesn't really have to be that ball dominant guy that he once was, that he was known for. He doesn't have to do that because he's got guys around him that can put the ball in the basket as well. So he could just be a presence, and when it's his time to put the ball in the hoop, he can do that. Tobias Harris, we didn't talk about him. If he can continue to improve on his scoring and rebounding, then Doc Rivers got something going on, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. The New York Knickerbockers.
There you go.
My New York Knicks. Yeah. Yeah. Nepotism runs deep in the city. And what I mean by that is we gave Rick Brunson's son, Jalen, an exorbitant amount of money. You could tell somebody was in the thesaurus today. We gave him an exorbitant amount of money. And I think he's going to be a guy that brings some excitement to the Garden. If anything, is an indication of what he did in Dallas last year. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I watched him in his first preseason game against Detroit. He looks confident bringing the ball up. He was, slashing to the basket. He was making moves. He was doing his thing. He was endearing himself to a very, very knowledgeable and tough New York crowd. So I think if Jalen Brunson can, provide that, consistent play at the point guard without trying to be a star, right? Because again, we put the cart before the horse in New York when it comes to the point guards. We already anoint these guys the greatest that ever did it, and we haven't won a title since Clyde. You know what I mean? And we traded him to Cleveland. So again, I think, you know what I'm saying? So again, I think when it comes to this New York Knicks team, Tom Thibodeau, he's going to be the guy that gets them not over the hump, but to approach some respectability, because I'm going to stand firm on my square, what I said a couple of years ago. When this New York Knicks team is consistently right and when they're ready to be right, Tom Thibodeau is not going to be the coach, right? Julius Randle is going to have to understand that he has it's a pecking order in this hierarchy. He wants to be the top guy, but he doesn't play like the top guy, right? So you're in a city in New York City, specifically 34th Street, 7th Avenue, right, where we expect our top guy to be our top guy. Play like it. Just don't talk about it. You know what I mean? Now, when you have an off night, we got to cheer for your son. No disrespect. But you can't rock me to sleep. Right? So, again, at the end of the day, I'm expecting Julius Randle to maybe win another most improved player. Right? And yeah, absolutely. I talk greasy about my team because I can. Right? RJ Barrett, he's going to have to continue his ascent. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Don't let it go to your head. Shout out to Grand Poobah, Lord Jamar, and Sadat X, Alamo. Rest in peace, Dougie. Again, Julius Randle, if he want to be the leader, he's going to have to be the unquestioned leader, but he's also got to play like it. Jalen Brunson is going to run the team. He's the point guard. That's what we gave him all the money for. RJ Barrett is the guy to keep everything smooth, keep things going along. Hartenstein is the guy that we got off the bench to provide us with some three shooting, remind us of Kiki Vandeweghe. You know what I mean? So, again, I'm looking at the New York Knicks not as a top 4 seed. No. As a 5th or 6th, nah. Nope, 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 nope. As a 7 for 8th, absolutely. As a 7 for 8th, absolutely. So how do you get to that 7 for 8th seed? The playing game. So
Mm.
that's where I'm at with the Knicks. I'm not confident enough to say that we're gonna, compete and win 55 games and all that. I don't think that we're gonna do that. I think it's gonna be some nights, some growing to do. Absolutely, especially in the beginning. Especially in the beginning.
Do you
So
think Julius Randle finished the season as a Nick?
nope,
Okay.
nope. I hope he plays well enough to kind of like convince some teams to kind of take him off our hands. That's where I'm at with Julius Randle because we know he's not built for New York. I'm just gonna say it. He ain't built for New York. I mean, he's
Okay.
built for somewhere else where he can kind of like prove that, yeah, he played in New York and he did this. And what did you do? That's what a New Yorker would say to you. What did you do? Right?
Okay.
So again, I think that Julius Randle is going to have to prove it through an entire season and the playoffs.
See, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same
Mm-hmm.
way about Jalen Bronson because I mean, well, he had one really good season in Dallas, but and then you also got to look at he was playing beside a superstar.
Yep.
Okay,
Two
right now on
alleged
the Knicks,
superstars before they got rid of Porzingis, right?
yeah. So right now on the Knicks team, there is no superstar on the
Mm-mm,
team.
not at all.
Okay, so things are a little different coming into this year for this guy, and the amount of money that y'all pay this guy,
Mm.
it's gonna weigh heavy on these Knicks fans because that's one thing I know about the Knicks fans. When they pay you, they expect you to play as
Right.
they paid.
Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so I'm definitely will keep an eye on that, and looking at RJ Barrett, Obi Tippin, see how who's going to step up, who's going to be the leader of the Knicks, you know
Mm-hmm.
who's going to be the leader of these New York Knicks, and then you still got Derrick Rose,
Right.
you know you
Manuel
got
quickly.
Cam Relish, you
Yep.
know
Reddish is. I'm interested to see how he's going to incorporate himself into this situation.
yeah.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, with how the Hawks, gave up on this guy, it was interesting to me because it was like at one point they was all for him, they was supporting him, and then it was like the Hawks hate him, and then it was like, oh, the Hawks trade him to the Knicks. I was like, oh wow, that turned bad real fast, but
Mhm.
you know we'll see what it is. Well, about your Knicks.
No doubt. Um. Yeah. So that's it. We've been on like a little bit over an hour and a half. Hopefully that
Yeah.
we fed your appetite for the upcoming season that starts on Tuesday night. Um. Real quick before we go, real quick. There's a fight coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall, they're uniting the belts. There was a fight that was supposed to take place a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately the Queen passed away, so they decided to postpone the fight. It's going down on October the 15th. What's your thoughts on the fight, Yada? Real quick before we go.
I think um I think Shields is going to get her revenge because that's the only loss that she have is against Marshall, but this is before she even won the
Mm-hmm.
Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she was young. She was what was she, 17, 18 when she fought her?
18.
She
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was still a kid. So I think that kind of weighs, on Carissa's shoulders and her mind, like, yo, I need to make things right. And she's at her best right now. She looks amazing. And I'm looking for her to get to work and get the job done and get those belts. What about you?
Um, I'm thinking that the postponement may have worked in Clarissa Shields' favor. I think that Savannah Marshall is, from what I've seen of her, She's very, very talented. She does her thing. But I
Mm-hmm.
think Clarissa Shields is on a mission. Um, I think if Savannah Marshall doesn't land something early, and what I mean by land something, I mean something that kind of changes the momentum of the fight. Because Clarissa is, she wants to get it popping. So I
Yeah.
think that Savannah is going to have to kind of like establish, the be the aggressor in the ring. You know what I mean? Have Clarissa on her back foot. You know what I mean? That's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna be looking for. Who's on their back foot? You know what I mean? Who's coming forward? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So, because again, this is a very interesting fight. I think it's going to be the biggest, women's fight in history of the game, and
Yes.
it well deserved. And you got two talents going on, and I think that card is deep. But I wish we
Mm-hmm.
had more time to talk about it. But
I
we'll
know.
definitely delve into it when we do our next show on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Make sure you check us out: YouTube, StreamYard, all of that good stuff right there. And shout out to everybody that rocks with us. Make sure you get your picks in for this week's games.
Get
They're
your
not
picks
as many
in.
games this week because I think there are 4 teams on a bye. So this is the first week where we have the bye week incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
So do what you do. Hope y'all rock with us. Check us out. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. Let us know what you want to talk about. And we here. We in the building down in Sports Talk. We on Facebook. You know what I mean? I'm RM Des on Twitter. That's
You gotta be on Twitter.
absolutely
Yeah,
so.
definitely let us know what
Mhm.
topics you want us to talk about, and
Mhm.
always chime in.
Absolutely. So again, that's what we are with it. We're about to get up out of here. Y'all got some business to take care of down in Atlanta. All right. So we'll rock with y'all. Talk to us. We'll talk to y'all. We'll talk to y'all. We'll talk to y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Let's go Yankees. Ah.